I teach preschool. And I spend a lot of my time trying not to be an insufferable know-it-all. If you think about it though, teaching 3-year-olds means from the very beginning that you probably have a lot more information than the people you hang around with. They ask a lot of questions. You have a lot of the answers because they ask simple questions. When they ask you harder questions, you just run and Google it right quick, and then you have more information, and that's the path to becoming an insufferable know-it-all. When I first started my career, I noticed that a lot of my more seasoned colleagues were not just insufferable know-it-alls, but were also incredibly dogmatic about ways that they thought that young children should be taught. They were so dogmatic. They were so annoying. They were so obnoxious. I spent a lot of time promising myself and anybody else that would listen that I would not be that obnoxious, dogmatic, know-it-all early childhood teacher. And then I taught for a while. What I came to find out is that early childhood teachers have all the secrets to great classroom practice. The problem is no one wants to listen to us talk about it because we play all day. Nobody takes it seriously. That's fine, that's fine. I understand. Here's the problem. I would like to share what I know. I spend a lot of time pushing back against people who feel that 3- and 4-year-olds should be taught like a classroom full of community college students. It's really baffling. So now I find myself, many, many years later, sometimes being kind of obnoxious. I'm a little bit dogmatic. I'm kind of a know-it-all. But I'm really trying not to alienate people because I do have the secrets, and I feel like it's time for everybody else to find out what they are. Here's the problem with that. As you talk to teachers, you'll find out that teaching can be incredibly isolating. We love to talk, but we spend a lot of our time inside of our 4 walls, dealing with the students who are in front of us and trying to get done all the different things that we need to get done. It can be isolating. It's even worse for early childhood teachers because when you see us, you see this. We all look like a bunch of savages in the preschool world. Nobody ever wants to come in because the inhabitants of the preschool room are wetting their pants and they're vaguely sticky. They're prone to random hugging, which means that you too could then be wet or vaguely sticky. It's gross. I know it. I understand. I understand. But when you see this, which sometimes kind of looks like a zoo, to the uninitiated, it's crazy. But to a seasoned eye, you'll know that that could be the seeds of collaboration at its finest. Look at that. Can you see how they're building that? Do you know how long it took to get that to balance that way? It took a lot of attempts. And there were a lot of people working on it. That's collaboration. Early childhood teachers have been telling us for years, people like Maria Montessori, or Froebel, who invented kindergarten, or John Dewey, they know. They've always known. Early childhood teachers know for over 100 years that you have to get in there with your hands and with everybody else to really learn what you need to know. Now it's time for everybody else to understand that that's how you have to do it. Lately, others have been understanding that small group collaborative work is really a great way to teach in a classroom. Teachers who engage in that kind of work are going to have a lot easier time incorporating that kind of practice into their classrooms. So how do we get this done? Well, again, teaching is isolating. So we're going to have to break outside of our comfort zones. You're going to have to come outside of your 4 walls, and you can start small. You might want to just go to the other teachers in your school who teach the same grade that you teach and just talk for a while. Just shoot the breeze, share a little bit, and then when you've mastered that, you're going to move on to the teachers in the grades above and below you. You might want to collaborate, align your curriculum, do a little curriculum mapping so that you can make sure that everybody's on the same page. After you've done that, then you want to stretch out there and go to those grades that aren't even close to yours. An example is you might want to find some shared interests. You might want to hang out outside of school. At South Shore, we have a First Fridays. I won't share where, but it's really, it's a fun trip. Other things you can do, you can have some shared interests. For instance, a couple of years ago, I decided I wanted to start running for exercise. And the 2nd grade teacher at my school is an experienced runner. So she took me under her wing, and she encouraged me, and she encouraged / forced me to coach our fourth and fifth grade girls in their Girls on the Run team after school. You had to run a 5K. I had to run a 5K. Now I can't stop running. I love it. I'm a runner. And now, unfortunately, this woman is the recipient of a bunch of tweets and tags. Every time I cross the finish line, she's got to be involved. I guess that's one of the hazards. So once you got around to all the teachers in your own school, it's time to make the next step. And you want to find other teachers inside of your school and out who are like-minded with whom you can share ideas. So a good way to get that done is to go out to conferences, to workshops, to seminars, and you'll want to maybe step outside of your field of expertise. I've been to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of early childhood workshops over the years, but as a preschool teacher who likes technology, I've met a lot more interesting people recently at technology workshops with whom I can collaborate. So once you've gone outside of that area, you're ready for the next big step, and that's finding people outside of education at all with whom you can partner. Now this is the tricky one, because as teachers will attest, people who are outside of the field of education often have zero idea what it is that we do at all, even though they feel awfully comfortable telling us how to get it done. I find that ours is the only profession that requires degrees and certificates and years of experience to get good, and yet any Joe Blow off the street can come in and tell us how to do it better. You can rest assured that if I left here today and strolled into an operating room and started telling McDreamy that I was not impressed with his sutures or that I didn't find his incisions up to par, that I would get mad side-eye and immediately get escorted out. I digress. People outside of education do have some models and ideas and methods that we can use and adapt to our schools and our classrooms. So we want to get out there and talk to them. The first thing you do is you want to find leaders at corporations who are interested in education, or even people who are pretending to be interested in education so that their company looks good. It doesn't matter. They're going to give you the support. They might even give you some money. We're not going to turn any of that down no matter what your plans are. Next, you want to find organizations that do something that you're interested in or that you need. Organizations that deal with sports or health or environmental education. All of those have outreach. They're going to want to come into your school. They're going to support you. It might not be with money, but there's a lot of conversation that can be had. It's going to grow you as a teacher. Next, you want to talk to a few of your friends. All of us have one or two friends who are smart. So what you want to do is you want to sit down, have a pointed, focused conversation with some smart people. Sometimes they don't have to know what you're talking about. Just bouncing things off of a good person to talk to can get a spark started, and it can then be a flame. You never know. Last, you want to talk to some legislators because we need people out there advocating for teachers in schools. I found that one of the only things that I liked that grew out of No Child Left Behind was mandatory time for teachers to have professional development. Now that's kind of being inched away from us. And we really do need time to talk to each other, to sit down and have focused conversations so that we can make plans to move our students forward. And we need legislators that are going to have our backs on that. So once we've talked to all of these people, we want to take it full circle because really our goal is to bring these things back to our schools and to our classrooms. So what you're going to do after you talk to all these people is you're going to come to your school and you're going to start yourself a professional learning community, a PLC. You're going to make that look good. You're going to go outside and get some awards and some accolades. Maybe you'll get some funding for your school. And that's when you can start making offers that they can't refuse to the other teachers in your building, because who's going to turn down material and money for their classroom? No teacher in their right mind ever. You've made this look good. Everybody's on board. And now it's up to you. You're going to take it back to your own classroom. That's right. You go back inside your four walls. You take your students and you break them up into small groups. And then you just let them start collaborating. Even 3- and 4-year-olds. They're going to start collaborating. You have to let them do it. At first it's uncomfortable. It's kind of messy. It's kind of loud. It's not what you're used to. But you have to let them do it. You're going to do it not because standards are commanding that you do it. Even though standards are commanding that you do it now, they're right. They're definitely right. You're going to do it because it's really a great, great way to learn. You're going to do it not because it's mandated, but because it really does create a great, wonderful, fertile place of learning in your classroom. It makes for joyful, joyful learning. You're going to do it. You're going to want to do it because, as early childhood teachers have been telling us for 100 years, actually, we know more in collaboration than we know in isolation. Thank you.
Yeah.